Welcome to my channel. Once upon a time, in a prosperous kingdom, ruled a wise and just king named Raja Virendra. He was known for his fairness, intelligence, and deep concern for his people. But as he grew older, he realized that he needed a trustworthy chief minister, someone who possessed wisdom, honesty, and integrity. One day, the king gathered all his ministers in the royal court. As they stood before him, he addressed them with a calm yet commanding voice. "I have an important task for all of you," the king said. "Each of you will receive a small bag of seeds. You must plant them in a pot, nurture them with care, and bring them back to me in 3 months. The one who grows the most beautiful flowers will become my chief minister." The ministers eagerly took their seeds, believing this was their chance to impress the king. Among them was Arjun, a humble and honest minister who had always served with loyalty. He took his seeds home, excited and determined to do his best. Arjun carefully planted the seeds in a clay pot, watered them daily, and placed them in the sunlight. Days passed, but nothing happened. Not a single sprout appeared. At first, he thought he had made a mistake. He checked the soil, adjusted the water, and even prayed for a miracle. Yet weeks turned into months, and still, his pot remained barren. Meanwhile, he noticed his fellow ministers boasting about their thriving plants. Some had grown bright red roses, while others had vibrant yellow sunflowers. They laughed and shared their secrets to success. While Arjun stood silently, watching his empty pot with a heavy heart. 3 months passed, and it was time to present the flowers. Before the king, Arjun hesitated. He felt ashamed to stand before the king with nothing to show. But deep inside, he knew he had done everything honestly. So, with a deep breath, he picked up his empty pot and walked to the palace. As the ministers stood in a grand line, each held a pot filled with colorful blooms. Arjun, however, stood at the end, his pot bare and lifeless. The king walked slowly, inspecting each pot, nodding in admiration. But when he reached Arjun, his eyes narrowed. "Where are your flowers?" the king asked, his voice serious. Arjun swallowed hard. "Your Majesty," he said, "I did everything as you instructed. I watered the seeds, gave them sunlight, and waited. But no matter what I did, they never grew." A moment of silence filled the court. Then suddenly the king's face broke into a smile. He turned to face the entire courtroom and raised his hand. "Behold," the king declared, "here stands the most honest man in this kingdom." Gasps filled the air. The other ministers exchanged nervous glances. The king looked at the ministers and said, "The seeds I gave you were boiled. They were meant to be dead. They could never grow. Yet, all of you brought flowers. This means you replaced the seeds with new ones, choosing deception over honesty." He turned to Arjun and placed a hand on his shoulder. "But this man," the king continued, "chose truth over success. He had the courage to stand before me with an empty pot, knowing he had done no wrong." The ministers lowered their heads in shame. The king's voice grew firm as he declared, "Honesty is the greatest virtue a leader can have. That is why, from this day forward, Arjun shall be my new chief minister." The courtroom erupted in applause. Arjun's eyes welled up with tears of gratitude. He had thought he had failed, but in reality, he had passed the greatest test of all. Under Arjun's guidance, the kingdom flourished even more. He ruled with fairness, wisdom, and, most importantly, honesty. Remember, honesty always wins in the end. No matter how tempting it is to deceive, truth and integrity will always be rewarded. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe. What lesson did you learn from this story? Let us know in the comments below, and stay tuned for more inspiring